I had given Bradley his first shot as an actor on an episode of Sex and the City a number of years ago.
It was the first job I ever did. It was in New York City. I was still in school, and I played Jake the downtown smoker.
When his name came up, I was like, I love Bradley Cooper, but he just feels, in my mind, he was like this, 24-year-old guy, and I just thought, oh, he's gonna be too young, and I hadn't seen these episodes of Alias that he'd done.
Rare when you get a bunch of people together who just genuinely have really great fun.
The hardest thing about doing the show? Ending it.
It's kind of emotional coming back. Even though we only shot 13 episodes, it was awesome.
So let me get this straight. You got no food, no staff. You're reopening with 300 on the books in less than 48 hours, and you want me to run your kitchen?
See.
Well, it's a suicide mission.
See.
I'll take it.
This is a book that I chased for 5 years. New Line was actually going to make it into a movie called Seared with Brad Pitt, with David Fincher directing.
When it didn't happen, they came to me and they said, are you interested in developing this as a TV series? And I was like, yeah, hell yeah, I'd love to do that.
I remember meeting with Darren in his old place on Cannon and sitting down on his couch and just going like, I have to do this. I have to do it.
I was meeting with a number of writers. I met Dave Hemmingson, who's just had the same level of passion for this that I did.
And he sort of saw my passion and my vision and enfranchised me completely, and I've been fortunate in the sense we've maintained a close friendship, from that moment on. So that's how I got it.
Okay, if I'm gonna do this, I gotta go. I gotta assemble a crew in less than 48 hours.
Yeah, right. How you gonna do that?
David Hemmingson and Darren Star just, they struck gold with getting a group together.
Oh, we had a huge casting call for this. I mean, we had dozens upon dozens of tapes coming in.
I had given Bradley his first shot as an actor on an episode of Sex and the City a number of years ago.
It was the first job I ever did. It was in New York City. I was still in school, and I played Jake the downtown smoker.
When his name came up, I was like, I love Bradley Cooper, but he just feels, in my mind, he was like this, 24-year-old guy, and I just thought, oh, he's gonna be too young, and I hadn't seen these episodes of Alias that he'd done.
It was Bradley on Alias, and it was a scene where he basically is playing like a British rocker, and he's like, give me 4 bottles of champagne, I'll tip you like you brought 5.
And I was like, wow, he really kind of he grew up since I last saw him, and he just had this maturity, confidence, but beyond that, he's always been funny.
Just turned to Darren, I'm like, that's the guy, and he looked for a moment, he's like, that's the guy.
Was there ever any doubt?
All hail the vegan slayer!
It was crazy. I remember the first read-through that we had together, and Bradley came in, and we instantly just hit it off, and it was like we'd had this history and we were already sarcastic with each other, and the characters were halfway there before we'd even begun. And then the extremely aesthetically unfortunate Jamie King walked in, and the equally unattractive Bonnie Somerville, and we thought this is going to be a horrible gig.
Working with all those great people, I had the most fun working on this show. Because it was just totally this relaxed family kind of atmosphere and a lot of hot women.
It felt like every time I went to work, we always had so much fun, and that we were laughing all the time and just really enjoying being together, and it was just funny.
I came on later on in the season for a 3-episode arc and then came back at the end. But it was just a very open, welcoming cast, and it was so much, everyone was so excited about the project and had a lot of fun on the set, so that was the greatest thing to me.
I got to do a lot of falls and wacky pratfalls and dropping of trays, more than I thought I ever would, because I'm certainly no stuntman, but it was fun to do that. And there was a lot of food, and the other good part about it was the craft services were amazing. It was the best craft services I've ever had in my life.
There was so much food everywhere. I gained a lot of weight on that show.
Not only did we have to eat on camera, or I had to eat on camera a lot, or more than in most shows, but also the food was so good, and I gained a lot of weight.
I'm twice the woman you'll ever be.
Twice my weight. Oh, dear.
I love the world of restaurants. I'm a big foodie myself, so there was something about being able to translate that into a comedy, a TV series, that was just really gratifying.
When I was a kid, I actually wanted to be a cook. And I worked in a restaurant for a long time. I worked at this Greek restaurant when I was a kid as a busboy. And then I worked as a prep cook in an Italian restaurant.
Now, you tell me that that's not an award-winning sauce. Yeah, it's okay. It's certainly not terrible. It's definitely not the worst thing, but okay, it's genius.
I was the kid who at school was almost beaten up by all my sporting friends because I decided to take home economics. And I remember at the time having the peace of mind as a 14-year-old to go, you just wait for 10 years when you're trying to woo the ladies and you bring them around and you can cook, we'll see who's laughing then. But I was always a big show-off in home economics, so people would come in and they go, I'm making pizza, or I'm making bread, and I go, I'll be making aubergine provençale on a bed of wild saffron rice. I
can cook cereal, if that's called cooking. I can put milk in cereal, the right amount of milk, and that's, you know, that takes skill. I know to put the cereal in before the milk, because if you put the milk in, the cereal floats to the top, and you don't get enough cereal in there, too much milk.
I enjoy cooking. I like cooking for friends. I mean, I'm not very adventurous. I'm not one of those people that can, like, I can't create a sauce out of my mind with just what I've got in there, but given the bare bones of a recipe or kind of an idea for something, I'm pretty good.
Put myself through college actually working in a dining hall, undergraduate, and also as a janitor there, so I got to see all kinds of the most unsavory aspects of food service.
Like I had friends that work in pizza parlors and stuff like that, so growing up I would have the experience of going to hang out with them like in the back or in the kitchen. And
I was a waiter. I waited tables at Johnny Rockets when I first moved to town. I was never a waiter like in the Kitchen Confidential restaurant. Like I was never that kind of like a fine dining, elegant waiter.
We begin with the bread. Since the dawn of time, man has had a complex relationship with bread. The Etruscans made it in stone ovens using mostly spelt and slaves.
They tried to train us at the Fox commissary, and it was, I don't know what they were thinking. They basically got a bunch of overexcitable young youths and put knives in their hands, then put really hot implements near them, and then just watched us destroy stuff in the kitchen. Great! Anybody see my fingertip? I remember the chef, this really sweet guy, going, he's coming, he's a lot to learn.
Is, you know, it's one of those things where it says you're going to do training, but it consists of a half hour with some raw chicken and some celery sticks.
Actually, I became good at flipping stuff in a pan, and whenever we shot and I had to be doing something, I would always request flipping stuff because I was really good at it. And I would pour alcohol into the pan so that there's fire, so it looks good. I don't know what it does for the food. I don't know how it could help it. Does food taste like fire? If it does, then it would help.
Don't touch my onions. I'm a trained chef, damn it, and I demand your respect. You mother scratcher. Mother scratcher. Finally, you show some sack.
I remember Erin Hayes, who played Becky in the show. There was a brilliant bit where we were just about to, we have this kind of face-off in the walk-in refrigerator. And she said something really sarcastic to me. I went, oh, great, and just slammed the refrigerator door. But instead of hearing it go, shing, there was this like really dull thud, and I went, that sounded like someone's hand.
When they opened the door for the camera action, I think her face was just like...
And she came out and her finger was kind of hanging there. And this was only half an hour after I'd gone like this to put on a jacket. And as I went like that, punched the makeup woman in the eye. So they're my favourite moments, beating up the other cast members.
I also enjoyed the episode where I got to work with this little dog, and you're not supposed to work with dogs or children, but this dog that was supposed to be Lindsay Lohan's dog. At first I was like, oh, this freaking dog, how obnoxious. But then by the end of the week I was like, oh, it's so cute. This little fluffy white dog, which usually are obnoxious, but it was not obnoxious, it was very sweet.
My favorite moment was probably when I got to make out with Jamie King. If I said anything else, I'd be an idiot.
I can't breathe.
You're right, that is funny.
I had so much fun doing each one that there wasn't one particular moment where I was like, oh my God, like this is my favorite. Because to me, it was like one of the few experiences I've had where every week was just awesome.
There was a great episode, he says, self-effacingly, because I think I was in most of it, where I covered my naked body with bunnies. And I enjoyed doing that. So, you know, and a few strategically placed bunnies, a few abs painted in, you know, bonus time. Everyone's happy, I look good, the bunny's slightly distressed.
Of the episodes that I was in, my second one was the most fun for me because that one I got to do a lot. It was the one about the rabbits, and Owen and I got to come up with this great tango in the kitchen, and it ended with like a Dirty Dancing homage down the side.
It kind of got to that place that I think, you know, at its best, Scrubs gets to, where it's both slightly hyper-real, but still grounded in the truth of these characters, and it was just kind of wonderful and a joy to behold. And I think that tango and all the stuff revolving around those rabbits in episode 7. I mean, it was one of those shows that it was just, you know, it was Grace moment.
All right, so who's gonna start dancing?
So a lot of the stories happened off camera, but it was a good time. We had a really good time. It was sad when it didn't go any further. We were really, really sad.
No, my episodes never aired. I was so excited because it was this fun, tough, ballsy character, and I just liked playing her. And I was like, okay, good. I'm glad it's gonna get out there in the world. And I think my episodes were supposed to start on a Monday, and we got canceled the Wednesday before. So all my calls to my family, like, sorry, not happening.
I loved everyone so much that for me, it was difficult for it to be over. You know what I mean? I think that I got really attached to the experience of it, and because to me it was very unique, and so that was definitely the hardest part.
I think in today's environment, you sort of have to come out of the gate an instant hit, regardless of your reviews or anything. It's really just all about that. Are you like grabbing that instant audience? And we didn't. And I think, you know, for a number of reasons, having nothing to do with sort of the quality of the show or what we were doing.
So we ended up, you know, kind of drifting out of sight. And that was the hardest thing, was saying goodbye to something that, you know, I really loved passionately and believed in profoundly. You know, I mean, it was just perfect. I mean, it was a great cast. It was a fantastic writing staff. It was Darren Star. It was, you know, it was a dream come true for me.
It's on out, but like, just for the record, 28 years old, okay? I said 33. It was like...
It's so weird coming back to this thing. Everybody looks like 18 years older. Like Owen's now a man. 'Cause I remember he was just sort of this big sort of young boy when we shot the show. Now he's like handsome as shit.
A lot of us became good friends and still are good friends. I was just at Owen's wedding in December in England, which was amazing. I've stayed friends with Bonnie and JFD and stuff, and or everyone.
I had so much fun working on that show, and it was really what a job should be, you know, because it's all the fun, even the work itself, the acting for me. I mean, it's the funnest, most easy thing you could do.
You had all these sort of different types of comedic energy in the kitchen, surrounding a guy who has no comedic energy. So that was nice.
As an actor, the biggest thing you can always do is just look at the project that you've done and say, you know, this is the best piece of work that I could have been involved with at that time. And I had a lot of faith in that show. I still have a lot of faith in it, and I believe that the people who watch it and the people who are yet to see it truly love it. I made a lot of great friends, and I think that's all you can ask.
I just want to say, for posterity, I love the show, and I hope you guys love it too, because I think the better angels of our nature were sort of at work when we were doing this. I think we were doing it for the right reasons, and I think the actors really loved their characters and believed in them, and a lot of the affection and the emotion you see on screen, you know, is kind of real. So it's wonderful when you get that confluence of circumstances, when you get people who occupy and inhabit a character so completely and do it with such love and such awesome comic timing and such humanity. So please enjoy Kitchen Confidential.